My beloved spiritual children, I would like to ask you first, all those who understand English, to raise your hands. Who understands English? Hi, I can't see. If you put your hands under the table, I can't see. Good. All right. It has become a tradition that during visits to the Jamaat, the Imam of the time shares some time with the student Jamaat in order to give them a sense of direction and to share with them some of the thoughts and concerns which the Imam has for the future of the Jamaat in the country concerned. And here you represent a very high concentration of leadership potential. You are the young men and the young women who are receiving an education and who have to make choices later on in your lives. What to do with that education, where to live, and why to live in one area rather than another. And it seems to me important that I should share with you today, after having visited the northern areas, some of my thoughts about the future of the northern areas, so that you can make decisions in a way which will be collaborative, supportive of the Jamaat's interests, of your family's interests, and hopefully of your own interests. For decades, the northern areas have lived in a state of sadness, of poverty, of uncertainty of the future. And you have sought to overcome these problems by an education, and you have sought education, and you are the fortunate ones who are actually today in the process of receiving education. But as young men and women before you will have realized, simply an education really doesn't mean anything at all. Education is only useful if it gives you the intellectual capability to earn a living properly in the years ahead, in whatever endeavor you have. If it gives you the capability to look after your family properly, which means finding a place of work and an activity from which the income will enable you to work and live happily, and to earn resources which you can leave to future generations of your family. Also, in going through your education, it is important to ask yourself the question, do I wish to serve myself and my family alone, or might I wish to serve my Jamaat and my country? And if I wish to serve my Jamaat and my country, how can I best do that? So to get back to the point I was making, education for the sake of education means absolutely nothing. What is important is that each one of you seek from your education that which is going to be important for your future. What is going to be important for your future? What is going to be important for your future is that you find opportunities of career development, of professional development, of work, which will give you professional and personal happiness and satisfaction. If you choose subjects which are totally unrelated to the future of the part of Pakistan in which you live, then you will be receiving education which you cannot use in this area. That then means that you have to leave the area, and you have to go and look for work or employment in other areas of Pakistan. What happens then? You end up in the cities. And the cities of Pakistan are already growing so quickly that demographic growth is uncontrolled. And there is unemployment in these cities. And you know very well that young men and young women from the north today are in the cities of Pakistan unhappy because they do not have professional satisfaction. They do not get the employment they want. And they end up by doing jobs which they have to do to earn a living, but they get no happiness, no satisfaction, and very little economic prospects ahead of them. That is not what I want for the young men and the young women in my Jamaat today. So I think it is much more wise, much more intelligent, much more foresighted to say to yourselves, to ask yourselves the questions, is there a future for us in the northern areas? And if there is a future in the northern areas, what is it going to look like? And what should I prepare myself for? So that in the future, I am able to do something in the northern areas which will give me happiness, professional satisfaction, a level of income from which I will be able to live decently, and which perhaps will enable me to serve my Jamaat in the northern areas. That is the vision I have. The third point I would make to you is that this is not just a fanciful wish. It is not a fanciful wish. It is my deep conviction that over the next 25 years, the economic growth of the northern areas is likely to be faster than other areas of Pakistan, because the communities are beginning to organize themselves. They are beginning to have a vision of economic growth. They are beginning to see how organizing yourselves with your work and sharing your aspirations with the government and with the Imam at the time, you can improve the quality of life in the northern areas. And I believe that this is just the beginning. I think this is just the beginning. I believe that in the next 25 years, inshallah, there will be real economic growth in the northern areas. So, in making the decision to select careers that are desirable in the northern areas, you are not making decisions which are wishful thinking. You are making rational, pragmatic, real decisions to commit your futures to a part of Pakistan where there is real growth potential. I do not think that 25 years from now, all the members of every family will be working on the land and will be earning from the land. I think that as agriculture develops, there will be a reorganization of land holding, that mechanization is likely to occur. That is a trend that is occurring all over the world, and so well may it be. We shouldn't try to contradict modern economic trends. We should try to govern them and direct them so that they serve our purposes. What this means is that there are other opportunities which are going to come forward for the young men and young women of our Jamaat. And I'm thinking of healthcare. I'm thinking of education. I'm thinking of agricultural development. I'm thinking of agro-industry. I'm thinking of service industries, tourism, banking, insurance. I think that as this area grows, there are going to be many opportunities. But don't select the wrong ones. Don't think of yourselves as students who will exercise their activities in an urban environment. If you start taking law and you think that you will practice law in Karachi, there are so many lawyers that every person who lives in Karachi would have to litigate to justify the need for lawyers. And I hope that at least in the future, in the northern areas, there will never be such a level of litigation that thousands of lawyers will be needed. So the point I'm making to you is select your careers, select your areas of concentration of education in a way that you know, or at least you can be hopeful, that as the economies of the northern areas develop, you will find good opportunity here in the north. And if you are studying outside the north, try to take subjects which will enable you to serve in the north, not to serve in the cities of the south, because I don't think they hold economic potential for you in the future. I think the economic potential for you is here in the north. The last point I would make to you is that both the government and the Imamate are committing substantial resources to try to assist the people and the economies of the northern areas to grow. Do remember that these resources are not infinite and they are not indefinite. That is, resources have a quantum figure to them and they have a time concept which is attached to them. You are fortunate to be having an opportunity to educate yourselves. That opportunity demands resources and it demands effort. I would hope that you will respect this opportunity and treat it properly. Take advantage of it, but don't abuse of it. Remember that if you were not in school, other students would be in school. We are not able to offer educational opportunity at the present time to every spiritual child in the north. And we are trying to increase the educational offering in the north so that children in various villages no longer find themselves without the opportunity to educate themselves. So treat your education with respect. And remember that it is an opportunity. And seek to gain the greatest benefit out of that opportunity. Also, in due course, keep in mind that we must not only offer education. In due course, we must offer the best education in the north. Why? Because life is competitive. It is competitive, first of all, in regard to yourselves. You seek to improve. It's competitive amongst communities. In the same village, people are competing with each other. And if the Jamaat in the north, the Ismaili Jamaat in the north, wishes to make real progress, and to do so in a competitive context, we have to develop the best institutions. And so we are not only seeking to provide education, we are seeking to provide to you the best education that you can have in the north. And that requires time and resources. It requires manpower, qualified teachers. It requires good buildings. It requires good libraries. It requires good educational materials. Therefore, a real, genuine effort is being made, and I wish you to share the understanding that this is an effort. So respect it, take advantage of it, and then try later on to support that effort by contributing in whatever way is possible, by becoming qualified teachers, by becoming qualified librarians, and so on and so forth. I hope the time that I have shared with you this morning has helped you to understand that there is a genuine, in my view, real future for the Jamaat in the north. Don't get hypnotized by the dazzling lights of the cities of Pakistan, because I assure you, behind those dazzling lights of the cities of Pakistan There are a lot of things which offer no opportunity and which contain the risk of unhappiness to the Jamaat if they start moving to the north, into the south in large numbers. So look to the north, because there is genuine future here. And if you have brothers and sisters or cousins or friends who are in the south and who are educated people, encourage them to come back to the north. Tell them, if you're unhappy in the south, come back to the north, because the north is improving. There is potential here. So encourage them to come back and to serve. And for the young students amongst you, let them not be misled into believing that the future is in the south. The elder students should take it upon themselves to guide and help the younger students in making the right decisions at the right time. Look then with hope and confidence to your future. Prepare yourselves well, and inshallah in your studies you will be successful. And you will come back and work in the north to be happy, and to improve your incomes, and to leave to future generations of your families resources more than what you have. And I give you special blessings for success in your studies and for happiness. Karnavata, Karnavata, Karnavata.